a pretty deep lake.
Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome back to Brown Bag Bets, powered by Betsperts. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christensen, and joining me, as always, Mr. Andy Molitor. And since it's Friday and Andy and I are exhausted from all this sports and bad jokes from the week, we bring in Matthew Rooney to help us finish out the week. I mean, what did we think of that football game? It was, some people have called it fun. I don't know how you could have enjoyed even a second of that. I mean, I guess maybe you're like somebody that likes watching horror movies or stuff like that. Are you into Saw?
It's
Is
spooky
kind of thing?
season, and also I had the under. It was funny too. It's like, on the show too. I was like, I bet this under on Tuesday, guys. I got a 43.5. I got a really good number. It's down now. I'm not so sure. What did we even get to 30? No, we didn't. No. We get to like 30.
It was 12 to 9. It was
12 to 9 to 21.
Yeah, neither team scored 15 points. 20.
Yeah, Dan, we were talking about this off the air a little with producer Dan. Twitter made it great, all the great. Somebody tweeted out a picture of the kid from Old Yeller, and it's like looking at Matt Ryan like, oh my God, like that's horrible. But at that point, I worry that Matt Ryan's washed, and at the same time, at least they didn't sign him to the Russell Wilson contract. My God, they are married to that guy, so. I think long-term it's funnier, but at the same time, at least we got through it. It's Friday. And you know what did well? Europa League, baby. Fucking don't need to pronounce some couple of no doubters. It's just so fun betting Europa in the middle of the day. Golf was not good. Tennis, we have more today. Is there more going on, or is it just end of the week malaise again?
More tennis. I got a couple little tennis picks for us. We'll be fine in that department. And there is a hockey game tonight.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of people betting preseason hockey. I've watched some preseason basketball. We got college football this weekend. Let's and you know what? We did burying the lead. Goddamn, we have a major sporting leagues playoffs are starting today.
And Noops' team is in it. We got a Phillies game at 1:00. I know you're not the biggest baseball guy, but your Phillies are in the playoffs, and you got day baseball.
Yeah, great.
Today doesn't count. Who's even going to play today?
Today. There's more day baseball than night baseball. We got baseball starting. This first bet that I'm going to give out starts.
I didn't realize the playoffs started today. I thought there was one more baseball game left.
It's dumb. Like it's dumb to start it like this on a Friday afternoon. But at the same time, #blessed. And I tweeted about it. And I have this weird.
I like having day baseball, but if I was like a professional baseball player and I had a 12:07 local time first pitch, I don't think I'd be terribly thrilled. And that's what we're getting. Rays Guardians starts in literally 30 minutes.
Yeah, every sport should have the NBA bubble schedule.
Yeah, I'm giving out my baseball pick first. I bet yes run first inning because the total's like
in which game?
The first one, the Guardians game.
The Cleveland baseball team.
The total is so low, and it just doesn't really change. I don't really think it changes how things work. Yes, the pitching's going to be good, and it's the playoffs, and totals go down. But yes, run first inning was over plus 150. So
yeah, I think
I'm taking a small punt on that.
Under half a run on Caesars for that game from the first inning was minus 190. It's like, what's the point of even betting that? You might as well take a flyer. And Shane Bieber, who is throwing for the Guardians today, has one playoff start. And he's one of the best pitchers in the American League, but he's only got one playoff start. It didn't go very well for him. That said, I am taking the Guardians in the first half. It's Bieber versus Shane McClanahan. We have a battle of the Shanes. I'm going to take the Guardians in that first half. McClanahan was a top three. Andy, I think he got hurt like the day after you got a Cy Young future.
Oh, not the day after, like 6 minutes after.
Okay, a couple minutes after. Yeah, I think I remember talking about it on this show. You were telling me how you got it. That by the end of the show, we're like, oh, he's hurt.
His arm broke. Yep.
He's just been okay since coming back from the IL. He hasn't been able to go more than 5 innings in a start yet. Maybe that's stretching him out, but still, you'd like to see him go a little bit more, stretch it out a little bit more going into the playoffs. His last 3 starts, he's thrown a combined 14 innings and allowed 11 combined earned runs. Granted, it's been against some good teams with the Astros and the Blue Jays in there. But still, he hasn't been great, and the strikeout totals have been really down for him. He's got 7 strikeouts only in those 3 games, and Cleveland's a team that is just going to contact you to death. And if they're not striking out, which McClanahan has to do, and Cleveland is a team that doesn't really strike out all that often, they're going to put a lot of bats on baseballs, and I think it's going to give them a chance early to win this starting pitching matchup. So I do like them in that first half, and yeah, like you said, the total for the game is like 5.5. I think most places.
Yeah, cheap juice on the over too.
Take the over. It's like both of these pitchers are good, but it's not like you have Verlander and Scherzer going at it. Both pitchers are good. Both are relatively unproven in the playoffs. The over is probably a pretty decent play there. Speaking of overs, I'm going to take the overs over in Noops' Phillies Cardinals game, mainly because I wanted to play in this one, and the Phillies offense prior to losing those last 2 games against the Astros, they clinched their wild card bid in that game 1 against the Astros in that series. They lost the next 2. Bats were kind of silent, but that's, again, after you clinch, it's kind of cruise control mode till the end of the season. They've been playing the ball. They've been playing really well, hitting the ball really well. I love Jose Quintana as a former White Sox. He's a nice, gritty starter. I know he's had a nice run with the Cardinals, but still he hasn't been an ace for a long time. Zach Wheeler's been a better pitcher at home as opposed to on the road. I think this is one that goes, it's 5-3, 5-4, something like that. I'm not saying it's a 10-9 game, but I don't think this stays under that total. And then I'm going to go Mets first half result versus the Padres. They got Max Scherzer on the mound versus Yu Darvish, and I just trust Max Scherzer a lot more in the battle of those starting pitchers. And at even money, I'm going to roll the dice there. I think the Mets bounce back from that Braves series pretty well, sweeping the Marlins. So I like them. I like that pitching matchup. I like Scherzer's mental makeup more than Yu Darvish's, and I think after his bad start against the Braves, you see him bounce back and have a pretty good effort today against San Diego. And yeah, I think that is about all.
That's a good reminder. I need to go check my sports book here. I have remember that Noops? I think it was our Canadian friend Bo talked me into a Marlins. It was like a regular season win total that they just offered up at a random time. So
you had that under. We were talking about that, I think, on the show a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah, we did that a couple times, I think.
It cleared by a bunch of games. So I'm going to go, the season's over. I should have some money. And we're waiting.
Bet online. Check your bet online. You probably bet it there, too.
Good.
I forgot. I had a Cardinals NL Central future, too, at the beginning of the year. So I got to go check with that. I got to go see that hit my FanDuel account.
Holt points out, too, Spreadopedia bet the yes run first inning, too. Good. Like, he actually has numbers to support his bets. Mine is just, I said it was a hate bet because I hate totals that low. So the fact that my hate bet is also backed up by somebody smart who actually does this. So let's go playoffs. And I'm going to watch some day baseball.
A lot of day baseball today. It's
along with
11:07, 1:07, 3:07, and 7:07, all Central Time.
All right. To the Czech Republic we go. Where is it just going to be? Who do you think wins this tournament? By the way, is it just going to be Kvitova now? Like, she's just playing that well at home.
She might not win today. I mean, she's got to go against Rybakina. Iga is still in the tournament. Krejcikova is back to playing great tennis. Ends up being a really fun tournament. It was a stacked field, and you always worry a little bit, Andy, this time of year. But I think being in Central Europe, where a lot of these women live, and kind of already settled a little bit. I mean, if I had to guess now, we'll have a Final Four of Iga, Krejcikova, hopefully Kvitova and Alexandrova there. Those will be 2 awesome semifinals. And again, it's hard to bet against Iga. I was looking through. She played 15 tournaments this year. I believe she won 10 of them.
Yeah, this is legitimately like I don't know. Like, what is this, a 500 or 250?
This is a 500.
Okay, I was going to say, this is like a high level. If that's your Final Four, that's seriously like a majors level Final Four. Then if you got that Final Four at like the U.S. Open, you're not complaining. Like, those are good matchups. So what are we betting on today, though?
bunch of totals here, and hopefully you do have a little bit of money in your FanDuel account, because I was able to actually tie down some of these over 10.5, 12.5s that we've been talking about casually, but haven't really seen too many places. But we'll start here. Rybakina, Kvitova. That match is going to be up shortly after the show finishes here. Once Iga is done dispatching of Katie McNally, they're next up. But the first half set here, the over is 9.5. And they're priced at about pretty correctly. I see a juice of red minus 130, minus 135. But as you get further up here, over 12.5, which basically all you're doing is betting on, yes, there will be a tiebreaker in the first set, is plus 430 at FanDuel. There's some other numbers out there. I believe that was the best of it. BetMGM has a pretty solid number too there. But these two women, incredibly strong servers. I really wanted to bet the over 9.5. Was actually a little disappointed, but still like this number quite a bit. Put just about half a unit on it, though, given it's kind of a bigger underdog play. But their style of play, strong servers. If this gets to 4-4, 5-5, I think we'll cruise into a tie break here and see how it goes there. I mean, both women, again, don't mind actually letting sets play out into tiebreakers, and I believe they've each played a tiebreaker or two already in this tournament. And then also later this afternoon, that'll be the next match after Rybakina Kvitova, Martinsova Alexandrova. We're going to take the first set over 9.5 here, and then also the 10.5 plus 280. You can find that at FanDuel as well. Again, really like the 9.5 here. I think we'll see a 6-4, a 7-5. I am a little worried about maybe getting to the tiebreaker, so didn't play the 12.5. Might honestly go back and just sprinkle a little bit anyway, because I'll have FOMO if it hits and I didn't bet it. But I think there's a great chance of a 7-5 here, at least a 6-4. This is going to be a long match. Again, the way it sets up, like a lot of these women's matches, long first set, quick second set there. So a bunch of first set overs this afternoon in Ostrava. Over Strava, hopefully.
Over Strava. Fuck, I love that.
That's
a good. Why haven't we? Oh man! And now here we are on Friday. We could have been Actually, it'd be
All
funny,
week.
it's funny to go back and look if it was like 80% to the over, if you look at all the set totals and everything. But there have been long matches in the Strova.
Indoors.
I wanted to have some golf. Don't have much golf. I don't love a lot of the offerings for the daily matchups. I played one. I'm mostly looking at I've been playing my full tournament bets bigger this year because they did well last year, and I feel like I left some money on the table. So mostly just cheering for those to keep going well. Looks like my favorite one was just God. Max Homa was plus 150 to Patrick Cantlay, and they fought to a duel yesterday. So I would love Max Homa to keep playing well and Cantlay maybe to drop off a little here. I don't know where this cut line is going to end up, but this is a tournament that I believe set the record for the lowest cut line. I think it was 7 one year. This can be a tournament where a bunch of people go scorched earth. Outrights Tom Kim and Keith Mitchell finished yesterday 6 under, which is good enough to be 2 off the pace. I need them to have some good days again. I would love to finally catch an outright. It's been since Zalatoris. That was my last one back at the beginning of the playoffs. So golf. I'll have more if you want to check that out. It's all on the BetSports Golf Discord. And then tomorrow, while I'm doing chores, I will be taking some breaks from my honeydew list and watching some college football. And again, Matt, gonna lean on you here. I know you yesterday did the show. What do we call it? Blogger Bowl.
Blogger
Bowl. Yeah, I haven't caught that yet, so I won't have any spoilers. It'll all be surprises for me here.
Well, unfortunately, no Gophers this week. I believe they're on a bye. And last weekend, when we gave them out minus 12, the injury luck went the exact opposite way. Not only did Aiden O'Connell play, but Mo Ibrahim was hurt. So it really didn't quite go our way there. And Purdue ended up winning that game outright. I'll start there. I'm going with Purdue and Maryland over 58.5. Neither of these teams play all that great a defense. Purdue played well against Minnesota, but like I said, Minnesota's best offensive player was out. When Tanner Morgan's not necessarily a quarterback that's going to light you on fire if he has to be kind of the main piece in that offense. Purdue is putting up over 30 points a game. Their defense has just been okay so far this year. Maryland's defense is fine. They're allowing close to 20 or 21 points a game, but they're both teams averaging over 30. Maryland's also played some pretty good defenses this year too, one of which being Michigan. They put up a decent amount of points there. They just scored 27 in a dominant win over Michigan State. So I like both these teams to score. I think this one's a little bit of a track meet, something like 35-31, something along those lines, with two pretty good quarterbacks going at it. Utah, UCLA, I'm going to go the under 64.5 there. Utah, since that loss to Florida, hasn't allowed more than 16 points in a game. Two of those games against conference opponents, one against Arizona State, who isn't all that great, one against Oregon State, who's been a pretty solid football team this year, and they've kind of dominated those two teams. UCLA came out of nowhere, pulled off an upset against Washington last week in kind of dominant fashion. The final score ended up being only 40-32. That game was 40-16 going into the fourth quarter, and UCLA just kind of played bend don't break, sat in the prevent, and let Washington chip away. That Washington offense had been unbelievable all season, and for UCLA to do what they did defensively gives me some belief that they can slow down Utah. Both teams are going to try to run the ball, so I think that's a game where the clock moves as well. I think that's way too high of a total for these two teams. And then Alabama, we talked about this on the show yesterday. Dan and I actually, without talking beforehand, we're on the same page with this bet. Alabama's first quarter -6.5 against Texas. We know about this. He's probably not going to play. And it is wild that still without their defending Heisman Trophy winning starting quarterback, that Alabama still is a comfortable 23-point favorite and really has no worry going into this game. Kind of awesome. Must be nice to be an Alabama fan. But they're going up against Texas A&M, whose offense is just absolutely putrid this year. Alabama really refound the run game against Arkansas, and that's what they're going to try to do. And I think they're going to be able to do it with relative ease against Texas A&M, because that team seems like they're circling the drain a little bit, and offensively, I just don't expect them to be able to do much of anything. So the first half total was 13.5, and while I like that too, if Alabama is going to be running the ball most of the half, most of the game, which they likely will be if Bryce Young's out, I don't want to risk that, but I do think they're up by a touchdown or more going into the second quarter. So we're going to take them -6.5 in that first quarter.
I'm down. You know I'm down. I need some bets. I haven't made any college football bets yet, so obviously now I have something to work on. And let's go back to baseball for the closer here, and throwing it over to Noops. Philadelphia Phillies predictions. Do you need to text your mom on this? Like,
I mean,
is that the thing?
It's a big deal that they're not playing any games in Philly.
Yeah,
it makes a big difference. I mean, the Philadelphia Phillies are one of the worst teams in the history of sports. First professional franchise in the world to lose 10,000 games, folks. But for some reason, my mom goes, they have like a 75% win rate. It's absurd. So no games in Philadelphia. Can't necessarily play that angle, but everyone on the radio here is really pessimistic about the Phillies. They're all down about the Phillies. They don't think they can hit or do anything. So as someone that generally loves to just fade whatever they're saying on 97.5 and 94.1 here in Philly, get the Phillies. Phillies to win today, Phillies to win game 2, whatever it is. It's given all the pessimism here in town. Let's do it. Let's go Phillies.
I may look at some series prices and see if they have series handicaps as well for these wild. This is how fucking out of. Are these best of 3?
Yeah, best of 3
so
and the wild
best
card
of
are
3
all,
and they're all in a row.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a wrinkle. They keep changing stuff in sports, and Andy
they
just
do.
doesn't keep up.
They do. Well, the COVID year, they changed everything and they expanded. And then they had the lockout, and I think the expanded playoffs was part of the lockout. So it was very, They hopefully they have this and they stick with it for a little while.
If a playoff game goes to extra innings, is there ghost runners?
Nope. They lose that rule in the playoffs. Thankfully,
that's gone for the. I felt like I remember
they dropped that in the playoffs, which is that's a good thing. I'm fine with it. It's okay in the regular season if you're trying to save pitchers' arms and all that, but playoffs, I love it.
I love how I treat this sports gambling show as like Google for me. Just like, hey, I have some questions.
Hey, you're asking the people like that's like when we ask you golf questions, you're just asking a baseball question. Nothing wrong.
I have to get these questions answered before we go.
Phillies, give me Phillies -1.5 games. I'm seeing +265. Let's do that. And then since I love doing this bet an NBA series, Phillies to win game 1 and to win the series.
Okay, I think they have the better pitcher going today. I think they have a chance to steal one.
I'm going to bet that and then parlay that with all the favorites. So that's my bet.
Albert
luck,
Pujols
guys.
is hitting second today for the Cardinals, I believe I saw. You think they made him get off the juice for the playoffs?
Fuck no, let him juice.
Why is he hitting second?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I saw that.
Can he run all of a sudden?
No, but I guess he makes contact, and if you have a leadoff hitter that gets on base.
And that's where, but that's where Billy Bean looks over at Jonah Hill. He says he gets on base. And that's such a good scene, honestly. So, all right.
I'm going to watch that this afternoon.
That is a good movie.
It was boring.
Send in the weekend with one more mention of our sponsor, No House Advantage, where you can, I'm going to do I've never done this, their whole ad read verbatim. I usually just spitball. You can play in pick'em contests versus other people for the shot at winning $250,000 plus in cash. Download the app, choose a contest, select your player props, earn points for the correct props, and climb the leaderboard for your shot to win in caps. Big money every day. You can also test your skills versus the house and 20x your entry if you hit all your picks. Bet up to 5-player props, over-unders, or individual player matchups across every major sports league, including NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, MMA, and NASCAR. Sign up now using promo code BetSperts at nohouseadvantage.com or download the app in the App Store and get your first deposit match of up to $25. I'm not sure why I just don't do that every time. It's easier than coming up with my own shtick. Like, it's just written out for me. Either way,
they just give it to you.
Yeah, support the show, support the.
You just want to be your
sponsor.
own you want to be an individual. You like doing
I
stuff.
am an individualistic. So, but yeah, support the show, support the sponsor. Check it out. Take advantage of the free money. And
send Andy names for his dog.
And yeah, I haven't got the dog yet. Like Monday we decide, and then if we do get the dog, can't take the dog until the 24th because of it still has to like nurse and hang out with his mom and then get some shots and stuff. And also my wife will be on vacation on the 24th with my kids. I don't do Disney. Like if we do a Disney trip, I just stay home. I won't go. So like they're going to Disneyland and I'm not because I hate it there. It's the worst place on earth. So if we do get the dog, they'll be at Disneyland and I'll be home alone. Which means I've got to do 100% of like the first line training. That's the hardest. So
that sounds like better than going to Disney, though.
Will very much be your dog.
Turds cleaning up. Oh my God. You know what the best part about, and again, we're just going full tangents here.
Do we have the overtime logo?
Yeah, my first dog was a beagle, very smart breed, but very headstrong. I trained her. I got her, to go outside. It wasn't easy, but I did it. Second dog, rat terrier, kind of dumber. He was a dumber dog, and I struggled at first. And at one point, the beagle just picked him up and carried him outside by the neck, like because she was about a year older, and just like a mother, because she was a girl dog, picked him up, carried him outside, and from there on out, she trained him. So hopefully my older dog will do that again. But regardless, yeah, do think in names. We will get we'll get to that once the dog is actually rescued / adopted / paid for or whatever. And yeah, have a good weekend, guys. Let's party.
Go Phillies.
Go Phillies.